one singular person around her to say, you know what, Brittany? At this point, they told you that they were going to get an injunction to silence them. It has now been, let's see, October to November, November to December, December to January. We're going into February. It's now been 4 months. They never even responded to their requests to amend. Then they respond to this 10 days late and it's rejected, and they still haven't rectified it. When is she going to realize? Then they realize that Castor's not their attorney. It just came out that it's absolutely without a doubt Nick that's filing all this.
Oh, yeah.
When is she going to realize? Like, when is whatever.
Well, you could tell it was him. The only person that's ever called Kate is him.
Yep.
And it's literally written that way in the paperwork.
And then when they put the attorney as the plaintiff, that was a little scary.
Yeah, they don't know.
There's been a lot of misinformation about cease and desist letters that have gone out, and I'm going to clear the air with that right now. Nobody has been told to stop discussing the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers, nor their coverage, right? The cease and desist demands were much more specific, very specific, outlining alleged crimes that are believed to have happened between individuals who received the letters. It's as simple as that. And they are asked to stop the criminal activity. Spreading awareness about Sebastian Rogers, who's 15 years old with autism, is not a crime. But the other instructions, and the best example was January 6th. That's what we're looking at. When you instruct a crowd to do something, you are responsible for that crowd, right, guys? That's just how it works. When you have a microphone and you tell people, hey, let's all get together right now, and we're all going to march, and we're going to break into this building. And just because the person doesn't go, doesn't mean that they're not going to go through the mud, right? You guys saw what happened to President Trump for that January 6th thing, and there is no difference here whatsoever, except it is a digital version of January 6th. What I mean by that is the same thing that happened on January 6th is happening here, whereas Sebastian is the capital and the disruptors are the social media select creators, and it's not as many as any of you imagine. It really comes down to just a handful, maybe enough for one hand to count, maybe with two hands and one finger at most, okay? It's not 20, it's not 15, it's nothing crazy, it's not. And that is interesting, right? And when I say interesting, I mean out of the dozens of accounts that are pushing this wild information, when you put a stop to, let's say, 3 or 4, for some reason the other 14 or 12 follow and vanish, literally. But again, nobody was told, hey, you are to cease and desist from covering Sebastian Rogers. Nobody. He's missing. And if he's not missing, then yeah, I guess you can be told to stop, but nobody can tell you to stop that. What they can tell you to do is stop any criminal activity, and that's what we're seeing. It's telling us you're going to kill us. Those are death threats. Sending people to flood lines of authorities, that is false reporting. I mean, when you add everything up and you look at the document that you received, there's nothing in that document that says, hey, stop your coverage on this young boy who's missing because you are searching for him. No. If you're going to use tidbits, please use the whole thing and stop with the misinformation and then going to GoFundMe and trying to tell people that you've been gagged from spreading awareness, when that's another lie. It's just a lie. As simple as that. If you're going to make that assertion, post the cease and desist with it, right? So that way you're not giving people one sentence out of a very lengthy 3-page document, right? Because if you take one sentence out of it, then yeah, I guess you can construe that as I'm not allowed to do anything that might hint even the initials of Sebastian. That's not true at all, guys. It's not at all. They are choosing not to put Sebastian at the forefront. They are choosing, when I say they, I mean creators, the ones that are not doing any coverage after they were served with notices, the ones that are halting their coverage completely. Those are the individuals that you need to be careful about, because obviously Sebastian is not on the forefront. Nobody asked them to stop covering Sebastian. Stop with the lies. If you're gonna lie, it doesn't make sense to do it when again, at this point, it's clear there are lawyers involved. They're fake lawyers. Go with whatever you want to say. But the fake lawyers are sending you very real paperwork, and it's a lot longer than a sentence about Sebastian. It outlines the crimes alleged, and maybe you can discuss them. Maybe you can discuss the billboards. Maybe you can discuss the finances. Maybe you can discuss the tip lines. Maybe you can discuss those things as well. And then when you add all of that up, it makes sense as to why you were asked to stop, right? And this is out to the creator. The creator knows who I am addressing. It's not stop spreading awareness. And there's never time, literally, when they say that it's never too late to make amends, it's never too late. And the creators that received those notices, it's not the end of the world at all. Yes, YouTube received a copy. Yes, TikTok received a copy. Yes, they are complying with it. But no, the lawyers are not going to suspend their accounts for speaking about Sebastian or seek to have their accounts suspended for that. They aren't. That's not the fact. That's not what's going to happen. Is the videos that are still up and the ones that were deleted are going to be revived and brought in as exhibits. And those exhibits are what you're not allowed to talk about, right? Inciting people to go and flood authorities. You know, that is not awareness. Inciting people to go and harass anybody is not spreading awareness. Inciting to literally make phone calls on your behalf because you have a following is not spreading awareness. It's actually spreading crime. And it is a crime when you organize people. That's a conspiracy. The people that comment in there saying, well, let's go, those are potential accomplices. And if something crazy does happen and one of these wild threats comes true, the people that commented LFG, which means let's effing go, do you really think they're not going to be knocking at your doors? This is 24 and threats are serious. The threat doesn't have to originate from the content creator, but if it originates from a video of the creator, whereas the person that made the threats was watching the video when they got the idea to make the threat, because of the terminology used in the video that says, hey, this person is a very vile person. Nick the Hat is just a monster. You have to call the cops on him. See, stuff like that leads to crazies doing crazier things. And they notice that when the police calls don't work and the threats don't work, and they just keep enhancing it, right? And since the videos slowed down, the threats didn't, right? They are still coming. And it's something that when you start it, that is the time to take that double take and think, is this a good idea? Should I say this? Should I do this? Should I be live? Or should I pre-record to make sure I don't cross the line? If you accidentally say, hey, flood the lines, I'm just kidding, stop, don't do that, and you make it a very clear point and talk about not doing it for an hour after you tell people to do it for 5 seconds, that right there might get you out of a situation, right? Because you're trying to make amends for much more time than you spent with that careless mistake. Maybe it was a careless mistake, maybe it was intentional. But again, guys, we're not here to halt the bandwagon whatsoever. It's about Sebastian. He went missing 207 days ago, and we want to keep the focus going on him.